I've been writing this code for a few days now, and last night I came to a realization. The code grows in size quite quickly, and I figured I would have to do some reordering so I am not drowned in my own code at some point. Even though it's a small project, the number of lines actually grows quite significantly. Last night, what I did, just before I move on to the next item in the menu, I realized that my original thought, which was good, was not good enough. So originally I thought about making those three sections: variables, where I store the variables. At the very top is importing the modules as they recommend. It's the very top lines. Then I have a section with variables in which I have movie list empty here in some menu I'll be displaying for the user, and so on and so forth. The second section is the definitions, function definitions, where the functions, when they're called, basically the code is going to be run from those functions. But third third one is the code itself. But what I didn't realize in the beginning, that even the order of those functions, even though in practice doesn't matter, it can be in the functions can be defined in any order because they are run when they are called. It's much easier for me to analyze my own code if they follow certain flow, and the flow here is the flow of the code that is being run. Let me go for Python 3 movie collection. So for now, what is happening in the code, let's go back to the bottom. There's only two lines, there's only two function calls: open collection and display menu. Now open collection function, just to remind myself what it's doing, it's trying to open the JSON file which contains the movie information. The movie information is stored in JSON file in the format of a list that contains dictionaries as its elements, and dictionaries contain key value pairs, which each dictionary describes a movie. Now, if the file is found, it's opening that file and it's appending the elements to the empty list that I have defined at the very top, so I can use it later and go through that list and display lots of information. The second portion of that code is, if that file does not exist, it will create one with empty list. So next time we run the code, it opens that file even if it's empty. Now, obviously, I've already created an option to add movies to the list, and it's working. So I already have like 3 movies in the list I can display. And there's option 4 in my menu. And last night I realized that I should be maybe structuring my function definitions in the order the menu is defined, because it's easier to follow, for me to follow. When I hit 1, what happens? I just jump to the code and see what happens next. So what I did last night was, inside the function definitions, I've also done here is, first 2 functions are called open collection, creating file, displaying the menu, which is going to take user input and act on it. But then if I click number 1, so the first display movie title option in the menu should be the first function after displaying the menu. And that's what I did here. Then next, obviously second is not even defined yet, so I haven't done that. Third is not defined yet. I'm going to be doing those next. But I also made this one work. So after 1, at the moment, if I have a menu, if the choice is number 1, it calls the function display movie titles, which is the first function, and I have it here, menu option 1. It's going to be so much easier for me to find what is happening here. Now, if the option 4 is chosen, there's another one. So obviously, when I start working on number 2, I'm going to place it right here below menu option number 1 with a comment like that, which is ignored by the code. Before I do that though, I'll notice another thing. If I run my code, let's say if I pick option number 1, it displays movie titles nicely. I increase the size of the line here, but I figured there's something missing here. So before I tackle option menu item number 2 or 3, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly modify that one. What I want to accomplish is that if I do display movie titles only, obviously this this list is going to be very long at some point when I populate all my movies into it. I want them to be indexed. So I want to see that the Alien 1 is going to be 2 Terminator, 3 Thor, and so on and so forth. How do I do that? So I decided to go like this. So what this function does, it first prints the movie titles, which after choosing number 1, we call the function. The first thing it does is actually displaying that, which is showing here. Then it is displaying that line, and then it iterates or loops through movies list. Now, since it's populated in the very function call, the movie list contains some items which are dictionaries, and then for each dictionary, the first dictionary is the movie Alien. In that dictionary, I have another loop, so this is a nested loop. So for the first iteration is dictionary about Alien movie. In that dictionary, I have key value pairs, K and V, key and value. And I'm iterating through items of that dictionary, and if iterating or going over those key value pairs, if I find that the key is called title, because that's what one of the keys is defined as, I print the value of that key. So only that, and so it only takes items from that list that are called keys that are called title and presents to the user the value of that title. Now what I want to do is I want to have a number 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to define a variable index and assign a number 1 to it initially. That's going to be the first movie. So when I go through the first element of the list and substitute the movie variable with that dictionary, it's about Alien, I will go over the items. If I find the key value, so the key name title, I will present its value. But now I want to do this. I want to present a formatting string, and I want to open the braces and first display the index. And currently, when the first it is run, it is number 1 index, and I want this number to be 3 characters long, so it's indenting my Alien by first number, the 3 characters number, space, and Alien. So to make the index 3 character number in the length 3 characters, I use the colon and say make the index, make the number you're presenting, which initially is 1, make it 3 characters long. So it's going to indent that, and it's going to be nice and neat when it displays more than, let's say, 10 movies or 100 movies. Then I need to close the braces, do the space, and in braces, because in formatting string I replace V with actual value, which is stored in a title key pair, and I need to close the quotes. So at that point, after the first iteration, it's going to now print 1 Alien. However, if I go to the second iteration of the movie list, so if I loop through movie again, the next movie in dictionary will be the Terminator. If the Terminator is going to be displayed, so I'm going over the Terminator dictionary key value pairs, I will find the title key and I will display the value of that title, which will be the Terminator. The value of index didn't change, it's still 1. So what I need to do is, after printing the index, I need to increment index by 1, and the syntactic sugar for that is index plus equals 1, which we read index now, which currently is 1 after the first iteration, will be now index equals to index, which is 1 plus 1. So now after this line, the index will be 2. So if I go to the second movie iteration, grab the second dictionary from the movie list, go over the items, find the key that is titled title, no pun intended here. The value of this key will be displayed with an index 2, 3 character long, and the value here will be after the space presented to the user, and so on. So let's save the code and run it. I have something wrong here, print index. Oh, I see where the problem is. Insert my quotes. Formatting strings must be enclosed in quotes. Opening quote, or apostrophe in my case, and closing quote or apostrophe whichever I choose to use. Let's run code one more time. Run. Option number 1. There it is. So that indentation here is caused by this :3. Make this index number you present or you print a 3-character long. 1, 2, 3. So when the number of index it grows in size, it's going to be nicely and neatly presented to the user from left to right.